How awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really nervous, I have to tell you. This is really, really exciting for me. And before I start, although I guess I have started, I want to thank everybody, MSEA, for having me here, Adam Mendelson, who made everything come together, and inviting me to speak here today. I'm so happy to see Darla Strauss in the crowd supporting me, and my other toy cohort, Annie, is here from Talbot County. Yay! This is my birthday weekend, and thank you. And I can't imagine myself anywhere better than with amazing professionals that serve our kids every day. I'm especially honored and grateful to be here with you today. Can I turn this down a little? I feel like I'm reaching. Can you hear me if I'm right here? Okay. So for me, it was about that moment. I was living in Connecticut, and I was an artist. I was exhibiting, I was working with other artists, collaborating, communicating, doing art things and building sculptures. And there was this one friend of mine who ran this nonprofit on Saturdays for at-risk youth. It was for girls between the ages of 8 and 14. And every weekend, she would go there every Saturday, and she would ask me, Sia, come and teach with me. But for me, I wanted to do art. I didn't want to teach art. It had been ingrained in me at some point that those who can't teach and those who can do. So I'm like, no, I'm an artist. I'm not going to do that. Well, this one time, she got sick, and there were no cell phones. It was that long ago. Maybe some of you don't remember that time. And she begged me to come and do the class for her. And finally, I said, okay, I'll do it. And what do I need to teach? She said, anything. Just make sure you get there in the morning. After the sun rises, make sure you leave before the sun sets, and wear galoshes. So I went home, and I grinded pulp. I decided to do paper making. Grinded pulp for days, and come Saturday, I show up. And I get there just as the sun rises, as she told me, and pull up these garage doors where we were supposed to teach art. I put my vats of pulp on top of the ping pong table where all the art took place. And as I slushed through the water that was ankle deep, I realized that's why I had to wear my galoshes. I pick up the bell that had been designated to be the summoning for my students. And it was on the ping pong table. And at exactly 8 o'clock, as she told me, I walked out of the garage into this crisp autumn day, and walking through the alleyways of one of the roughest neighborhoods of Connecticut in New Britain, I took this bell and started ringing between the houses. Ding dong, ding dong. I expected nothing, and out of these houses, to my surprise, came these girls. They spilled out, wearing bathrobes, galoshes, Pop-Tarts in hand. And they came into that garage in that water, and we made paper. We made paper all day. We worked together. I had never experienced anything like that. You know, around 4 or 5, a mom with broken English came around and says, son, going down, you go home. And we put our vats of pulp back into my car, and that following Monday, I signed up at Central Connecticut State University to become a certified teacher. Thank you. I'm Greek American. Keep on coming back and forth. Any Greeks in the crowd? I was born here, but I grew up in Greece between the ages of 6 and 16. My father was in America working while my mother was trying to raise me as best she could as a Greek woman. You know, and really all they wanted for me in my life was to be a good person and grow up to have a Greek family and raise Greek children. They're right there, they're half Greek, they're good. Um, um, and they were really strict, and they really just wanted that for me. But, you know, being also American, I wanted to get educated, see the world, be independent, and this was a really strong conflict for me within me. At the same time, though, being in Greece, I have dyslexia, and here's my speech, okay? All right, my husband, who's a special educator, helped me to to write it. Anyway, so here's my speech. I can't read it. I wrote it, but I can't read it. But when I was in Greece, I had this amazing teacher, English teacher. Her name was Mrs. Duzeni. So Miss Duzeni could see that there was something up with me, something that wasn't going right. Because every time I would start to try to read a passage in English, I would end up taking this deep breath. I'd get really stressed out and then blur out the words. Dyslexia was not diagnosed in Greece. And she figured out strategies for me to learn. She figured out that I was an auditory visual learner, and that if she read things in tape for me and I listened to them, then I would get the text. I would get the language. I would get everything. So she taught me that strategy that I used in Greek. So I would go home every night and read everything into a tape recorder. Does anybody remember what a tape recorder is? So and then hear it back. And I was just an average B student struggling in Greek. And in English, however, I excelled. And the reason I excelled is because she believed in me. She saw something in me, and she knew and taught me that with hard work and perseverance, I could overcome anything. And our kids can too. But my Greek teachers, they just thought, and they told my parents that I was lazy and I would never amount to anything. Well, bam, here I am. I hope they are looking at me in Greece. Well, when I came to the States at 16, I had a very similar experience with another teacher. This time it was my first art teacher. And her name is Mrs. Fight. And she also was there at the gala with me 2 weeks ago. And she cried the entire time. And Miss Fight, you know, she saw beyond the dyslexia. She saw my potential. Like something I didn't even recognize in myself. And she led me through the Gifted and Talented program and eventually got me into art school. These two women believed in me and taught me how to believe in myself. They saw the beauty that existed in my hands and in my spirit, something that other people had not seen. Through their eyes, I saw myself too. Today, when I teach, I too see the beauty that exists in each one of my students. I know that with hard work and perseverance, they can accomplish anything, regardless of their circumstances, backgrounds, and even handicaps. Thank you. I'm going to go back off script because it's too many words here. So I'm going to tell you about, I have this young lady, Deja. And Deja was my student 2 years ago. She is so talented. But she's been through some really hard things that I don't want to talk about right now. So she ended up going to college. She was a really smart kid, going to college, dropping out. So when I started this process, I called her up and I said, hey, Deja, can you write me a recommendation letter? She's like, Miss K, I got you. And because she's amazing at writing, and she does slam poetry, and I knew she could nail this thing. And so she writes me this recommendation letter, and it's beautiful. And I said, hey, Deja, what are you doing these days? She goes, well, I couldn't wake up in the morning to go to school, so I eventually ended up they kicked me out of college. Well, I said, Deja, what do you want to do with your life? She goes, I thought I was going to become a graphic designer, but it's like not working out for me. And I said, Deja, don't you think you'd be a great teacher? She goes, you know what? I like teaching. I said, but I can't wake up in the morning. So Deja now comes every day to my class. For whatever reason, she wasn't waking up in the morning. Whatever she was doing or not doing, she comes to my class every day at 8 o'clock. And she sits with me and teaches with me by my side until 12. And at 12, she leaves to go work at Walmart. And she does this every day. We decided that 4 weeks forms a habit. And then if she did this for a full semester, I'd go to the college with her and get her back in. And this time for teaching. And she's doing it. Every day she's there doing it. And she told me, what do you see in me? I said, I see you. You're beautiful. I see the work that comes out of your hands and how you talk to the other kids. You can be teaching by my side in 4 years. And she's like, I'm going to do this. And she comes every morning. And she tries again, even those mornings that she can't wake up. So I have another little guy. His name is Everett. Now, this is a fresh student. Everett, I've seen only like 4 to 5 times a semester. He makes like these small appearances. You know about Everett, right? We all have an Everett in our classrooms. So my first inclination, of course, is to grab Everett and say, Everett, where are you? Why aren't you in my class? But every time he comes in, I'm like, Everett's here. Everybody, buy a lotto ticket. This is the day we're going to win. And I make this big fuss about him. And he sits for 5 minutes and said, Everett, why don't you come to my class? Well, he says, Miss K, I need to make some money. I have a side business. I'm like, during school hours, Everett? Like, can't you do it after school? She goes, no, this happens during school hours. And so I know that Everett has a side hustle. And I understand that Everett needs this side hustle in order to survive. He's made it clear to me. But I really want him in my classroom. So every time Everett comes in, even if it's for 10 minutes, and then for 20, and then for 30, I say, Everett, here, take this piece of paper. Let's draw together. I put him next to the smartest kid. They draw together. He walks back out. Well, this last time, I was asking all the kids. I'm in month 2. I've seen Everett 6 times. Month 2, and we are about to draw charcoal, black and white drawings from observations, but from photographs because the light changes all the time and it frustrates the kids. So I told every kid to take a black and white photo and send it to me. And as they're sending them to me on my phone, and I'm printing them out, I'm also giving 100 for me receiving. So Everett comes up and looks at me putting in the grades. I said, Everett, send me a black and white photo. And he goes, okay. So he goes and takes a really cool selfie, and he sends it to me, and then he comes up to see me put in grades. And he looks at his grade, and there's a 70, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 100. And then 0, 0, 0, and 70. He goes, I got 2 70s? And I said, yes, Everett. And you gave me 100? I'm like, yes, Everett, look, you got your 100. This is my first 100 I've gotten, he said. I said, he looked at me and he goes, can I change all those zeros? And I said, yeah, Everett. But when are you going to do it? Because you have your side hustle, honey. And he goes, can I come after school? I'm like, yeah, I'm here every day after school. Sorry, Maria and Elia. I'm here after school for you. I'm like, yeah, what time do you want to come? 4:15, he says. I don't know why. A whole hour after school he's available. And I said, yes, Everett, I will be here at 4:15. And you know what? Everett has come for a full week, every day. And we have erased those zeros one by one by one. When the kids meet success in one area, they meet success in the rest of their classrooms. And I told them, Everett, do you want me to go to your other classes and ask their teachers? Maybe we can do your work for them in my room after school at 4:15. And he goes, would you? And we did. We went together. And hopefully those other teachers are going to give me some packets. But this is why art is important. You know, this is why we are important. Because we teach our kids to believe in themselves and to see some light in the darkness sometimes they come to us with. Let me see on my script here where I should be. Okay. All right. So, no, I lost it. So I can't find it. So anyway, I think that what I do for my kids is I give them a toolkit of strategies in order to succeed in their lives. And within that toolkit contains hard work, perseverance, focus, resilience, along with giving them the innovation and creativity and collaboration and communication skills that we need for 21st century in order for them to be successful in their lives. I'm going to tell you one more story about Brandon, because this is about my toolkit. Brandon wasn't also coming to class, but he's an awesome artist. Unlike Everett, actually, he could draw and take photographs. He didn't have a side hustle. He's just slow in starting. And so I saw that, and I saw that Brandon really liked the art. And I took him to an art show, him and another 10 students, because that's how many kids my car fits. And we went together and set up these pieces. And during that time, during that show, he was interviewed repeatedly by different people. And he's kind of shy. And suddenly, he started talking about his work and what really interested him. And he realized that he had a voice that people wanted to hear. And so now today, Brandon said, he's a young engineer. He's at Morgan State University. Yes, he's awesome. And he uses that creativity to inform his engineering practice. However, Brandon also has a side hustle. And his side hustle is to put together art shows. He curates his own shows, so that way his friends and his peers can find a voice to talk about what really matters to them. Okay. So that moment from so long ago with those girls, those beautiful girls in Connecticut, have unfolded into years for me. And because I can, I do teach. And I know that's true for all of you. Because you can, you do teach. It's really hard what we do every day. And unless you've taught, you don't know what it's like. And people are always like, oh, you got 2 months off. Yeah, no, I need them. So, those lovely girls on that cold morning in Connecticut helped me see within myself the key to helping others reach their fullest potential. Teaching art isn't only about color and line. It's about equity of knowledge and opening the world of possibility to our students. Thank you. God bless.